I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the U.S. Open Wheel C Series going to take on Road Atlanta, Brazelton, Georgia. 2.5 miles of high-speed carnage and insanity. My name is Chris Graham, joined by James Watson in the booth, as always. And I'll tell you what there, Mr. Watson, another monster race tonight. 39-37 SOF, 3 splits. Indy Pro 2000 or US Open Wheel C is growing, and I'm here for it.
Oh my god, it's incredible. As I wait for the stream to pop up, I'm just so in awe of what the series has become compared to where it was the last couple seasons. It's incredible. Like,
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, incredible is a really good word to use for this. We have Teddy B up here in the big box, David Porcelli in the small box. Well, we had David Porcelli. There, we got him now. So qualifying is underway here for this race that is going to go, I forget how many laps it is, but we went 11 laps in the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class race, which was an absolute barn burner. You don't want to miss that one coming up here at the conclusion of this one. Fantastic race there, and this one, quite frankly, James, probably has the potential to be even maybe a little bit better, because the draft is really going to come into play with these cars.
yeah, we thought the draft was crazy in the USF race. This is going to be just as big with the slightly more powerful car, or a little more speed. Basically, once again, we're expecting to run down into the chicane here after the back straightaway to be chaos, as well as turn 1 on cold tires to also be chaos.
Yeah, this race, by the way, will be 19 laps in length. Some big names here. We have splits of 19, 19, and 7 are the 3 splits. So just about everybody that we're familiar with is going to be a top split, middle split, top split, or bottom split driver, obviously. But a lot of the guys that we're most familiar with are going to be in the middle split. May have a chance to talk to Mike Holler or Rod Eskew at various points during the night tonight. If you would like to get in on the action and chat with us during the race, whether you get knocked out or hopping up onto the podium. Drop us a comment here. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll get you the link to the official Discord server, or well, unofficial Discord server, I guess, that we do all the communications here on a week-to-week basis. First laps are coming in the books. David Porcelli is going to be your quick time, 1 minute 15.507. 15.561 for Nicholas Daly, second quick. Back to a quarter second, fifth place, Richard Holt. Everett Paddock, Ted Burns, Richard Holt, your top five. While qualifications are ongoing here, let's update you on the broadcast championship standings here. I put too much work into this over the course of the week, and if you only knew how much it actually was, you'd say I'm nuts for doing it, but take a look at the point standings in Class C. Forgot to update the graphic there, sorry. Ted Burns, David Porcelli, Carter Lundy, Everett Paddock, Sean Malloy, your top five. Burns with a 15-point lead over David Porcelli. Looking at the overall standings, which includes USF 2000, or the Class D class cars, and the C class cars, Ted Burns, Carter Lundy, David Porcelli, your top three. A couple of Nagisa Yoshikawa's there in fourth. Nicholas Daly in the fifth position. So Ted Burns, as of right now, entering the night, was looking pretty good. We'll see. Hang on. You're going to want to be here for the entire ride. We'll say it that way. Teddy B having a very good finish in that D-class race, but it was not without incident. It was an interesting show, that is for sure. Still 3 minutes left in qualifications, and the only driver on the racetrack right now, Aiden Luis Ingrata, having some issues in the USF 2000 race, or the D-class race. And there you go. Qualifications are over. It is time to go racing here for the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class Series. No surprise here, as we're going to head out to the grid and let's take a look at our starting lineup. Carter Lundy, a lap of 1 minute 15.210, lining up on the front row. Lining up alongside Teddy B, Ted Burns out of Downforce Racing, 58 thousandths of a second back. David Porcelli and Aiden Luis Ingrata, he got the lap in, and it was a heater, putting him up to fourth on the grid. Nicholas Daly, Everett Paddock making up row number 3. Good Lord, this field is stacked. Richard Holt, Ryan Hammond on row number 4. Row 5 is going to have Mike Holler and Nagisa Yoshikawa. Carl Lemkool and New Jersey's Max King occupying row number 6. Row 7, Brian Labarge and Rod Eskew. Cody Hundley for Shot Guy Racing Performance and Canada's Frank Wynn on row number 8. Row number 9 is going to screw me up. Nikita Lastochkin. I'll get his name right. I've said it before. Ari Korkodilos? Korkodilos. That's probably more right. Ari Korkodilos. Yeah. On the outside of row number 9, lining up in the 19th position, will be Indiana's Bradley James. 19 cars for 19 laps here around Road Atlanta. Still waiting on, well, only one driver. That would be third place starter David Porcelli. Still got a little bit of time here before he has to be out on the grid. But there we go. He pops in. They are going to take off. And James, let's talk our way through the lap here a little bit. Road Atlanta is interesting. Very Sebring-esque with the final quarter that kind of dumps you out really close to the start-finish line. But you can make a move there and get the job done. We'll come to that in a minute, though, because Turn 1 has the potential to be absolutely insane with this land rush of cars heading towards it.
Yeah, and it's one of the tougher turn ones on the schedule because with how long it takes the tires to come up to temp, you really don't have a lot of the lateral grip you need going through that corner or until like around lap 3 or 4. So it's always a big gut check moment trying to make it through there on lap 1 and make sure that you're not killing the car next to you.
Well, and then you come up, it's an uphill corner, spits you out up at the top, and basically 2, 3, 4, you're coming downhill through the S's. This part, same thing. You need that lateral grip, and you're just not going to have it. Great shot there, looking back up the S's. Then you start up the hill again, and you're heading out. You're starting to make your way down towards the back straightaway after this 90-degree right-hander. A lot of space to be gained here, but you've got to exit the S as well.
Yeah, and then once you get out of the S's and you enter around turn 4, that quick left-hander going up the hill again, that big exit curve, it's not flat, it's anything but. And it's another gut check moment because you're so scared that it's going to land wrong and it's going to bottom out and just hook you into the wall on the outside.
The long back straightaway where they used to land planes full of marijuana at one time. The home of the International Marijuana Smugglers Association was Road Atlanta. By the way, the trees, the low-hanging lines, I don't even want to know. They were landing, it was not little Piper Cubs they were landing on this backstretch. They were huge. But then you're going to dive down the hill into what we're calling Ricky Taylor Corner, where one of the most bonsai moves ever made at Petit Le Mans was done on the final lap contesting a championship. You make the left, the snap right up the hill under the bridge. You're kind of through. It's a little bit of a chicane. Then you're back down the hill into that final corner where if you've got the huevos, you can try it. Green flags in the air. We're underway here at Road Atlanta. Great look coming down through the S's. Everybody getting themselves single filed out. And it looks like we're going to be clean here at the front. Carter Lundy getting out over David Porcelli. Ted Burns, Aiden Luis, Ingrata battling. Burns able to get past Ingrata. Everett Paddock going to be right there as well. Big old lot of cars. Oh, buddy, hold on to it.
Oh, that's disastrous. That's the last corner you want to have that big wiggle.
Oh, man, things getting insane. Paddock going after Ingrata. Who does Teddy B go with? Well, he's going to try to get inside. Paddock is through. Burns is through. Daly going to be held up just a tick. My goodness, one lap in the books. Oh, they're going to try to go side by side again.
Teddy not wasting any time.
No, Teddy B trying to get his rear end up to the front of the field. Wow, great move there by Ted Burns. Now Ingrata trying to get around Paddock, and he does. Oh, that was tight.
That's the closest you'll get to some right side romance in these cars.
At least in living to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Oh, one car, couple of cars hard into the wall. Mike Holler's going to be involved in that one. His car up in the air.
Looked like another downforce car, too. Was that Carl?
Taking a look. Actually had Carl Lemkool involved in that one as well. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. See what happened here. My goodness.
Ah, that is violent.
Yeah, that was a big hit for Mike Holler and Carl Lemkool. Both of those drivers have to take the tow back to the pits. Ted Burns has broken away. He's starting to catch your top two. The battle now, Ingrata, Paddock, Daly, and Holt.
Nice clean move by David to take the lead. still got a big pack in the midfield. Look at that. From like top 5 all the way back to the end of the top 10, all nose to tail.
Yeah, that's exactly right, James. 4th through 10th going to be basically nose to tail. Lower right-hand corner of the screen, we'll have your race leaders. And the battle cam, we'll call it, will occupy the big box here for most of the race. Get back up to this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Paddock, Ingrata, and Daly. Well, maybe not for long. Ingrata around the outside of turn number 1.
Oh.
Wow, what a move.
Net up and ball out, baby.
Yes, sir. So Brian Labarge also going to be on pit lane. Mike Collar, Carl Lemkool, Cody Hundley out of the race as well. So 4 cars going to be out of this race. Well, Labarge just getting back out onto the racetrack after being on pit lane. But 3 laps complete already. 4 cars well down the running order.
I tell you, Ted is on a charge again. He is putting some qualifying laps down. I would not be surprised again if he catches back up to the top 2.
I don't know if it's, maybe these two talk on the sim, Porcelli and Lundy, but maybe a discussion of, hey, can we just single file this and not let him get caught up?
That's probably what they're going to do. We see that on a weekly basis, scenarios like this, but is that even going to matter? Like, it seems possible. We've seen Ted do it before, and we saw it earlier in the USF race. It can happen. Especially if they're doing that.
Yeah. Lundy coming around Porcelli in the battle for the race lead. Everett Paddock, a little bit of a connection blink there. And I'll tell you what, Lundy starting to open up a gap here just a little bit on Porcelli. It's only 3-ish car lengths here as they get to turn 1. Well, Porcelli going to close it right back in.
Yeah, I saw when David made his pass, he opened it up to like half a second and Carter caught back up.
Oh man, little bobble there out of Everett Paddock as well. This racing is so good throughout the pack. Pick up Yoshikawa, Ryan Hammond, Max King. This is the fight for 8th, 9th, and 10th. The race lead, that's back in David Porcelli's hands once again. And man, the more they do this, the more Ted Burns is catching up. I mean, I am not a smart man by any stretch. There's just part of me that says I don't want Ted Burns catching up here.
No.
Almost to the point of if you're David Porcelli, just let Lundy lead. Or if you're Lundy, just let the other guy lead. Hey, I'm not going to try to pass you. Call it that way. You don't have to come to an agreement. The guy that's second in line can just say, I'm not passing. But at this point, it may not matter because the gap is down to about 8 tenths. And Teddy B is well within drafting range now.
Honestly, though, with how streamlined the maneuvers were, it almost kind of doubles as a swap draft. Like, they're not really, okay, they're kind of costing themselves time. But those previous moves, I don't think were really costing them that much time compared to what they would have if they just held up. I just kind of think that Ted was inevitable. Thanos with the snap.
So now it's going to be Porcelli,
Oh,
Lundy.
Whoa, my goodness, what a save.
Wow. Oh.
Like, he did that like it was nothing, and he still kept the same gap. That's just not fair. That's incredible.
As somebody that's good at iRacing, that makes your heart sink. I just look at it and laugh. Like that dude, he's just damn good. You're watching it from the perspective of these guys are okay. They're more than good.
I'm watching it from the perspective of I own that car.
Yes. Big dive back up the inside by Lundy. He's going to grab the race lead. Man, the battles back in the pack are just as good here, too. Whole line of cars pretty much nose to tail. We'll pick up Nagisa Yoshikawa, Max King. Let's see, who's the other one there? Ari Corcadilos. Oh my goodness. The battle for the race lead is so good. We are not getting away from it. 3 wide to the chicane. Ted Burns to the race lead.
Oh my lord.
Like, just don't do it, boys. There's no need for violence yet. We're not even to halfway.
Only them could have pulled that off. Only them could have survived that. Anyone else, and they being carbon fiber piles.
That is correct. And quite frankly, we've seen some of the netcode issues here as Porcelli swings out wide. We've seen some netcode issues here over the last couple of weeks. You've got to be brave to attempt that move.
And the confidence you have to have, because you need to be psychotic and you need to be able to go, I can do this, and then do it.
Like Ted Burns going off track, not taking his foot off the throttle and holding the same gap for the lead. That was
like I said earlier, that exit curve is a roller coaster. You are being bounced around. If you had a butt kicker, your butt kicker was, well, being kicked over that curving. And if you're not careful, it'll land wrong and it will hurt you. Not the butt kicker, the landing putting you in the wall, but I suppose both will.
Oh, that was tight. Porcelli getting around Ted Burns. Burns almost gets into Lundy.
You know, I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying that in the last lap, the pack behind has caught up a second.
Yeah. That would be Everett Paddock. Aiden Luis Ingrata as they're battling once again. We'll bring that box up for you. That's Ingrata, Paddock, Daly, and Holt. 4, 5, 6, and 7. They're making up some ground here on these guys as we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, they keep on throwing haymakers and uppercuts and smacking themselves upside the head with chairs. This Money in the Bank match is going to have a lot more people in it.
I see what you did there, James. However, it was a mixing of metaphors, but that's okay. We'll let you get away with that.
That's what I do every day. And just no one pays attention.
Burns back inside of Porcelli, down into Taylor corner. Taylor curve? It's more of a corner. It's not quite a curve. Porcelli going to fight back down the hill. What's interesting here, James, is we haven't seen any of them try the pass out of that final corner yet. You wonder, is that something that you just have to keep in your back pocket until you need it on the last lap?
I mean, I'm not really in position to make a final move off of that corner, so I'm gonna talk highly uneducated, like I usually do, and say I'm not entirely sure if you could realistically make a move like that, at least complete it before the line, because you have such a small window to operate. You know, it's such a tight corner. You don't have a whole lot of room. The dirty air also kind of plays into effect. Like, if there was ever a time for that move to happen, it would have happened that last lap, because you saw David got a huge run out of the chicane on Ted, and he still wasn't able to pull it off. I don't know for sure if he just pulled out and said, wait, I'll wait, or try it into turn one. But I'm just not entirely convinced that that's something you can rely on. Maybe as a last-ditch effort, but that's something you're going to have to complete in the chicane if you're going to realistically have this race won.
Well, we're 7 laps from finding out. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next, it is the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class race. Do a short commercial break. Thank some of the sponsors. And by the way, this is a sponsored video. I think we have to say that on YouTube. We haven't done it in a couple of years, but we'll start the new year doing things right. Matt Wagner checking in. Oh, we'll get this one up. Easy solution. Send it. Yes.
Amen.
And quite frankly, James, we've seen a lot of that already in this race. Ted Burns holding on to the lead. Carter Lundy just biding his time in third. Because you don't want to make the mistake that lets the leader get away.
Yeah, and even with these three sending it on each other, they pulled back that second they lost earlier. So I think it's just going to be these three unless something catastrophic happens.
Well, yeah, let's take a look here, but I believe, confirm my math, yeah, last lap by Ted Burns setting a new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 15.143. We got our buddy 90210 is checking in. By the way, if you want a show, let me know. We'll figure something out. So how do we feel about Andretti Cadillac Honda F1 team? It is Andretti Cadillac at this point. Go ahead, James. I want to hear your thoughts on this first.
As a Ford person, I'm disappointed that it's not Ford they're getting involved with, because I've been waiting for them to get back into it. But I'd just like to see Andretti be on the F1 grid. I feel like Andretti has done enough to at least have an opportunity, and considering the teams that they've had in F1 over the last decade and a half, it's one of those, do you really think they could be any worse? Like, let's not forget that Hispania, Lotus / Caterham / whatever, Marussia / Virgin / Manor / whatever existed, and they just existed. So I feel like F1 doesn't really have a whole lot of leg to stand on, looking down at what an Andretti entry could be compared to what they've had. So, yeah.
Ford is too busy scamming people with EVs to go racing anymore.
The biggest problem was slapping the Mustang badge on the electric Mustang. Just put a Fusion name on it, then it would have been okay.
Too soon, Matt Wagner. He did have an opportunity. It did not go well as a driver. By the way, the battle for the race lead is still insane. Carter Lundy making the pass a lap after David Porcelli made the pass, brought the two of them through. So now with 4 to go, it's going to be Lundy, Porcelli, Burns across the line.
Meanwhile, Ted's just there, standing there, menacingly.
Well, quite frankly, the move's going to happen the way Carter Lundy did it. He just showed him the blueprint. When the guy in second makes the move for the lead, you just follow through inside into the chicane.
Mm-hmm. Freight train.
Now, the question becomes, when do the moves actually start to happen? Because if I'm David Porcelli, I don't want to be leading right now. You know you can make the move into the chicane. I'll ride here for a couple of laps. Does that force Ted Burns his hand at all?
I kind of think it will. I feel like he's going to have to make a move ASAP, at least next lap.
Oh, what a gutsy move by Lundy.
And they're still side by side.
Oh, we've got one off the racetrack here as well. Nicholas Daly getting off the racetrack. He's going to lose a handful of spots. The battle behind the top three has settled down. 90210, no, you are far from accurate there. Asking if the best named driver will be coming into the IndyCar series. Saying Stingray Robb, hands down best name ever. He was ill-equipped to drive an IndyCar, but a guy named Rayson Gardner did make a start at Indianapolis once. There's a handful. I would say Stingray Robb it's a good one, but not a great one.
We're so unhinged talking about random stuff in this race. It's like another episode of Pizza at the Pagoda. Yeah, I'm thinking next time around, Ted's got to make that move.
Joao Rafael checking
right.
in. What a race. Yes, sir. Oh, they're tight. Oh, wow, that was... Oh, man, they're still dancing up the hill through one.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh,
oh you can... Oh, this is crazy.
How? How is this happening?
These dudes walk around with wheelbarrows in front of them to carry the manhood. Good Lord.
So... The side pods on the side of the cars, you think that those are where the radiators are for all the cooling stuff, right? No, that's where they store their balls. That's the only place they can fit them.
Oh, here Lundy pulls out 3 wide down the back straightaway. Oh, this is so not good.
This will be jeers or tears. Oh, David made a business decision. He's like, nope.
Oh, what a move! Here he comes! Here's Porcelli inside! He gets it done through the final corner. White flag is out, 1 to go.
Caught them sleeping on that one. Oh my God.
Here comes Lundy back inside into 1.
That was a 1,000 IQ move right there. Oh no, they're gonna do this again. There's no way this goes well again.
Oh, tight! Oh my goodness! Lundy back to the lead. Porcelli slots back in line. Aiden Luis Ingrata has made up 3+ seconds here, by the way. Porcelli
Might
goes a
make
little
up
bit
more.
defensive line here on Teddy B.
Now, let's see. Was that move into turn 2? Was it too early for Carter?
It's going to be the big toe down the back straightaway. Lundy covers the inside. Porcelli back to the outside. Porcelli's there. Is he going to have the move? Here comes Teddy B. Through the final corner, there's contact. Porcelli, Lundy, who's it going to be? Wow! Porcelli over Lundy and Burns.
Oh my goodness.
I am seeing 4/1000ths of a second between David Porcelli and Ted Burns in third.
What did we just witness?
Holy cow. They're animals.
How did they survive? There is...
my goodness. Official race results. David Porcelli, Craig Lundy, Ted Burns, your top 3. Let's show you the race results. 48/1000ths of a second to Craig Lundy. 92/1000ths to Ted Burns in third.
So, this is definitely iRacing top 10 material, right? Right.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna. By the way, we're gonna be submitting those for them. By the way, this year. Aiden Luis and Grata and Ari Corcadilos coming out your top 5. Nagisa Yoshikawa, Max King, Nicholas Daly, Everett Paddock, and Ryan Hammond back to the 10th position. 11 to 15, Frank Wynn, Richard Holt, Rod Eskew, Bradley James, and Nikita Lastochkin. Everybody else finishing 1 or more laps down. That includes Brian Labarge, Mike Holler, Carl Lemkool, and Cody Hunley, finishing 19th to round out the field here this evening. Oh my goodness. That was insane. Let's see here. We'll get the Victory Lane interviews ready to roll here. We'll start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight. Let's bring Teddy B up into the booth with us here. And my God, man, we were joking. Do you have wheelbarrows that you carry the balls around with? Or James says you store them in the side pods? Like, that was incredible what we saw out of you guys.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. I mean, props to Carter and David. I love racing those guys, and we can race that hard and clean. So props to them for being able to put on just such an awesome show. It's as much fun to race as I'm sure it is to watch.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it mildly. What really was intriguing to me was over the last couple of laps, we didn't just see the passes we expected. Sometimes it's in turn 1, most of the time it's at the chicane, and then you just kind of ride the lap and you work it out. You guys were side by side, all of you at various points in places that you can't fit 2 cars wide.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was pretty wild being able to go through a bunch of those corners too wide. Yeah, because I mean, it just takes a lot of trust in the guy next to you to be able to do that. And we were all just trying to play that little game of chess and car positioning, trying to get set up for the last lap in the right spot and try and stay mistake free. And I just came up a little bit shorter than the other two. They just outdrove me a little bit, little mistakes, and that's I think why I'm P3 instead of a little bit higher.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great race tonight. Because man, it was fun to watch. You did great things in both races, and I think you're still going to be our overall points leader for the broadcast series. We'll check those numbers after the race, but all in all, not a bad night for you. Before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, of course. Got to thank Downforce Racing. We had a really fast race car today. Too bad we couldn't put it on the top of the box, but it was a pleasure to drive. Thanks you guys for putting on such an awesome broadcast. I look forward to going back and rewatching this one for sure.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us and check out for just a minute here. And good Lord. Now it's time to talk to the guy who finished second here this evening. We're not even going to wind the replay back. We're just going to keep going on this thing. Let's pick up Carter Lundy. There he is. Our runner-up finisher here this evening. Man, at one point we said you were sitting there biding your time, and if you were the guy in third, you would be kind of following into the chicane. You just follow through the next lap. You take the lead, no big deal. And it was not like that. You guys just decided to play grab ass for a couple of laps.
Yeah, well, I knew coming after maybe 10, 12 laps that I was on lower downforce. I could tell just from how much I was gaining or losing down the straight. So that's when I decided that it was time to stop sitting back and trying to make the move whenever possible, because I knew that if I was ahead, I could brake later with a little bit more downforce. I didn't want to be stuck behind and then just not gaining enough down the straight to make the pass. So in the last few laps, we were just going at it like crazy. We were going side by side, like 2 laps in a row to like turn 3, which was just insane. And then finish was insane. It's just a lot of fun to drive these cars with these people.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the places that you can't go too wide, because we saw it on back-to-back laps where you went side by side through what at least I'm calling Ricky Taylor Corner, through that final chicane, and then the pass was made out of that chicane. We didn't see that the entire race. Was that something you thought about, you had in your back pocket, or was it just kind of, I gotta go?
Sorry, what was that? Was that you were talking about the final chicane on the last lap?
Yeah, that move through the chicane of... Yeah, that's one of those places where you make the pass into it, not through it, and then down the hill to the final corner.
Yeah, I clipped the grass running down the straight, which is just a bit of a knocked on. Must have been dropped as a child or something to do that, but that lost me a little bit of speed. And then into the braking zone, I wasn't sure if I was going to lock up because of that, but I was going to try and go for a switchback. I was going to get the inside and then get the switchback for the second part, but then Ted was right there, so there's just no room for that. So I just tried holding it around the outside, and then I was like half a car length ahead, but coming down the hill, there's just a bump that I hit, and it just ruined all my momentum. And then I think we got like a 4X, nothing like too major, but it was a really close finish.
God, it was epic. That's what it was. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in, hanging out with us here. And before we let you go, get any of your sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, once again, thank you to you guys for putting on the show. I'm excited to go watch it back once again. Thank you to simracingcenter.com. Let's put a sponsor in this time. Go check them out. They have coaching for F1 and iRacing. They provide setups and a bunch of great stuff. So you should go check that out. simracingcenter.com. Yeah, that's just about it.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We're watching the 3 wide now, and oh my goodness, that was insane. Time to bring in our race winner, the final fight to the checkered flag. David Porcelli picking up the victory here tonight. Oh my goodness, man. That was it was fun. Talk us through what you saw. That final 2 laps were just insane.
Yeah, when Carter started challenging anywhere but into 10AB, I was like, okay, it's on. Like we're gonna fight this out for these last 2 laps. So going side by side through 1, I kept wanting to get under him so I could get inside of him through 3. If you can sort of shove your shoulder there, you can break away from the draft. But oh my God, that was crazy. So then we went through the S's twice side by side. The first time I managed to get in front of him before the big downhill, and then going into the back straight, he got around me, and we had that massive sort of 3-car dogfight through the entirety of A and B. And then once again, here we go, final lap, side by side through 1. I'm thinking about getting under him, but I just can't. So I'm outside of him on 3. Yeah, and then he gets in front of me going down the hill, which like I was actually really happy about because I wanted to be in the draft on the last lap. So we finally go into the turn 6, and I see that Teddy blows his exit, and that I've just got this massive run on Carter, and all I have to do is outbrake him into 10. And I gave him a little bit of cushion room because I saw he was really outbraking himself out a couple of laps. And like, thank God I did, because he shot across the apex curve, and like I just managed to get the exit, and I don't know what would have happened if he hadn't gotten loose there on the hump, but oh, holy moly, what a race.
Our buddy 90210 is checking in on Twitch saying, does it hurt from sitting on his massive balls? That's the only thing that I can come up with, is it's a different mentality. At no point as a sim driver have I ever looked at one of the scenarios you guys were in on those last 2 laps and went, I'm confident in my ability to execute this, and I trust the people around me enough. Both of those things have to be in play here, and you did it with these 2 guys here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the faith between, me and Teddy and now Carter, thanks for joining the series, man, because it's been a real pleasure at the start of the season. It really speaks for itself. I do have to say, being 100% honest, there were a number of moments where I was just sort of praying to the wind, and yeah, it's on those last 2 laps, it was make it or break it. So that was all out. That was everything I had. No reservations.
Well, I tell you what, the season thus far has been pretty darn good. You've only scored 3 weeks, 5 starts, 3 wins, 5 top 5s. You've led 48 of 77 laps completed. Your average finish for the season is actually 1. Knowing that you've counted a drop week, so the numbers are not where they theoretically should be, if that makes sense. Right. You've got to be really, really confident where you are at this point in terms of trying to defend a championship as well.
I'm feeling solid, but just like I said last season, this is just the start of it. I've got to bring it home. I've got to keep my focus and make sure I keep getting these first or second places on these strong SOFs. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season and the championship battle. I can't wait to see what happens here.
Yeah, good 39-37 SOF tonight. Very solid. So, David, congratulations. A fantastic race win here tonight. Thank you for putting on a whale of a show. We appreciate it. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, man, can't wait to watch it back. Shout out to Racecraft 1 Indianapolis. Shout out to Team Watson Racing. Hi to the family. Shout out to Satellite Racing. Thanks to National Racing Network for putting on such a killer show every week. Like I said, I can't wait to watch it back. Be sure to tune in next week, and I hope to see you in the booth then, guys.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. Thank you much. We appreciate it. And, man, I'll tell you what here, James. Now we come back to the live look, and I don't quite know how to process what we just saw. This race was absolutely intense.
This has to have been like the greatest race we've ever witnessed from this series.
Like, it feels like we say that every week now.
Yeah, because like we've seen, hard-fought battles, crazy moves like this, but we usually see it at tracks that are a little more conducive to that type of racing, like Spa or Road America or what have you. They were doing things that you cannot realistically do at this track. You can't really do some of the moves that they were making. You can't go side by side through the turn 2 chicane, and they did that 3 times?
Yeah,
like
just abject insanity. Fantastic drive tonight from David Porcelli, Craig Lundy, and Ted Burns. Man, that was intense to watch. On the last lap, by the way, Everett Paddock having an issue. Not quite sure what the issue was. I didn't see an off-track register, but he really slid back through the field on that white flag lap. So we'll take a look and see if we could possibly see what happened there with Everett Paddock and recap that one for next week. But good Lord, we finished this one up, and now it's time to take the quick commercial break and come back with the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class race, 9 o'clock p.m. in the East. That one ran. It runs at 9. This race runs at 10, as we've talked about. So if you want to get in, if you're a lower class, lower licensed, iRacing driver, that 9 o'clock split on Thursday nights is where you're going to find your best field of the week. Great place to develop your skills as a D-class driver. We're looking forward to that. But all right, let's get out of here. Take the quick commercial break. We will be right back with U.S. Open Wheel Class D. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the U.S. Open Wheel doubleheader right here on the National Racing Network.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the National Racing Network and our live coverage of the U.S. Open Wheel D-Series Championship. Coming to you from Road Atlantic. Chris Graham, James Watson, Jason Owens on the call for you here tonight. Qualifying has just wrapped up. Carter Lundy will be your pole sitter as the field's going to get ready to roll away here. And Jason, let's come to you first. A split of 41-31, some pretty big names in this one as well at the head of the field. Some of the more familiar names are a little bit deeper in the show. This one really has the potential for some chaos.
Chaos, barn burner, all gas, no brakes. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're about to see an absolutely insane run down through the S's and then run down the backstretch. Even though there's turn 8 and 9, they're not really turns here. Kind of like Road America a couple weeks ago with turn 2, but this is going to be an absolute mega race. Some great sim racers, some really good up-and-coming junior drivers in both karts and F4. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot to look forward here to, and I'll tell you what, James, as we get ready to, we'll slide over here and pick up, well, let's go split screen. We'll get Ted Burns here up on as well, up on the screen for you. This really has the potential to be interesting because we've got Nicholas Daly, David Porcelli, Ted Burns, Nagisa Yoshikawa starting 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The crafty vets, the guys that were used to being up front week in, week out are a little farther in the pack. I think that's going to make this race even crazier is because we know these guys know what they're doing. They know how to get to the front, and they're going to get to the front. And so watching them make those moves to get to where they need to be, it's going to be interesting because passing here isn't always the easiest. There are some really great passing opportunities, but some of them do require a bit of a gut check moment, a lot of skill to pull off. And with how much they're going to be in a pack coming down right here into this chicane on lap 1, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of unintelligible screaming.
Yeah, speaking of gut check, let's watch that turn 1. There's going to be some dive bomb action.
Oh, God, yeah. on cold tires that don't grip that corner well in the first 2 laps. Oh god, here we go.
Green flag in the air. Good jump for Carter Lundy here at the start. Let's pick things up on the overhead, see who we're going to get down into turn number 1. Looks like we're going to sort everybody through cleanly, at least most of the way. Up through 2, down the S's. They're going to have to get single file through here. 11 laps the distance for this U.S. Open Wheel D Class Series race. Aiden Luis Angrada getting a little bit off track. He's back on after about 5 seconds. Savio Panicia battling with Cameron Dance. That's going to be the fight for the 3rd position.
Yoshikawa and Burns are throwing haymakers at each other multiple times on this lap.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's pick these guys up here as well. Following along with Nicholas Daly, Aiden Luis Angrada going off track and now taking the jump to the pits. That is not what he wanted early on in this race. Battle for the lead is behaving itself. They're going to be nose to tail. The battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, really tight. Oh, they're going to try to go 2, maybe 3 wide. Not a good idea. Oh, Porcelli managed to get out of the middle and up to the outside of the racetrack. Oh, man, nice pass by Porcelli on Hammond. That's going to get Porcelli up to 5th, Hammond to 6th.
Oh, that was a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, in fact, this is now one big, long train of race cars here, following along with the DHL number 4 of Ryan Hammond. Your race leaders sitting nose to tail, but 1.2 seconds or so ahead. This line here is going to catch them, though. The draft might not be as big as it is in the Indy Pro cars, Jason, but you're still talking about pretty significant tow that you're going to get here.
Yeah, but they're flirting with the edge. Lundy and Marcello Panicia are really flirting with the edge of breaking away from the draft from the rest of them. So if Savio, Cameron Dance, and David Porcelli don't start playing leapfrog to pull some extra time, it could be over already.
Yeah, your top 2, we'll get them up here on the bottom corner of the screen for you. They're tucked in nose to tail, and it's about 1.3 seconds or so. Man alive, this battle here for 2nd was pretty good. Oh, let's slide back a little bit here as well. Ryan Hammond battling with Nicholas Daly. Daly was trying to get out there a little bit. Going to be 9 laps to go here, 2 in the books at Road Atlanta.
The crazy thing is, though, it'll only take one pass attempt from the 10 car at the wrong spot to pull everybody right back in.
Yeah, they are right at the edge. They have the gap they need, but the tiniest little slip up from the 10, and he's going to bring everyone right back in.
I'm telling you, Dance is actually pulling some time on him. He's pulled in about 2/10 in the last half a lap on the 10 car.
I'm not surprised. We usually don't see him here in the PM18 or the USF 2000, but I've raced against Cameron a few times. Cameron knows how to drive a race car. That's putting it lightly. So we don't see him that often, but it's cool when we do because he's a really quick driver.
One of those guys that we do see a good bit. Let's pick up Ted Burns here. Teddy B apparently sounds like possibly having some issues here in car, Jason.
Yeah, I was listening to the in-game chat. It sounded like Ted might have had some pedal issues in either quali or in warm-up. Looks like he has those sorted now as he's up 2 spots since green.
Battle for the lead, still nose to tail. We've got Teddy B down there. Let's see, slide back up here. As we got one off track, and it's Cameron Dance.
What? Oh no.
Take a look and see
and Watson with the
I'm not responsible for that. You can't pin that on me.
Oh, sure we can. See what happened. Oh, man, just a little bit of a
just
twitch.
high-sided it.
Yeah, little twitch on the curbs. Fantastic piece of car control.
That is incredible. If that was any of us
That
three,
was
we would have
Olympic
ended
ice
up in the
skating
wall.
gold medal quality right there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but here's what it's done, though. It's puts Savio Paniccia, he's back in third, now back to being about 1.4 seconds back of the leader. He may not be able to catch these two because it's another 2 seconds back to David Porcelli now in fourth.
It looks like on my end he's about 0.8 behind. He is just barely there, but without that help behind, I think you're right. I think he might fall out.
Although we'll say that and the leaders will start battling like crazy and he'll catch right up and then we'll pack everybody up.
Yep.
Let's take a look here. Let's flip the boxes here. We'll get the good battle up in the big box. This is David Porcelli, Ted Burns, Cameron Dance, Ryan Hammond, Nick Daly, Carl Lemkuhl, Timothy Reynolds, Nagisa Yoshikawa. From 4th to 11th, separated by a total of 3 seconds. They are all nose to tail.
That's a murderer's row of drivers in these cars right there.
Yeah. Just insane the amount of talent. Here comes the move by Teddy B. He wants to get himself up to the 4th position, going to make the move on Porcelli. Porcelli's going to get the drafting help, but it won't matter. Burns able to clear down to the inside. We're going to start calling that Ricky Taylor corner, I think.
Yeah.
One of the greatest dumb passing attempts in racing history taking place in that corner by Ricky Taylor. What was that, 2 years ago at Petit Le Mans?
Essentially, yeah.
Off the grass, in the dirt, trying to win himself a championship on the final lap of Petit Le Mans. It was beautiful.
It was hilarious. I was there at the bottom of the hill, and we couldn't understand why everybody was cheering because you could hear it over the cars there at the chicane.
Meanwhile, for those of us of the more financially challenged, I too remember watching it on TV and being dumbfounded at what I witnessed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm watching it on TV going, he's not going to do it. There's no way he's that dumb. And then you remember it's Ricky Taylor. He's not dumb, he's that aggressive. Jordan Taylor is both dumb and aggressive.
Rodney Sandstorm for the win! Nope, that didn't work.
Oh,
I'm telling you, this view down the backstretch, Chris, it almost looks like one car at times. These guys are so close.
Yeah, they're tight, lined up, and not being squirrely.
Oh,
big send!
It's a huge send out of the tattoo centipede there, and then a back.
There's decisive, and then there's that.
Yes.
He licked the stamp and sent it. Let's go.
So now past the halfway point, 5 laps to go here in U.S. Open Wheel D. We briefly showed you the broadcast championship points a little bit earlier, right as we were coming back from the commercial break. We briefly got it up on the air, but taking a look at the numbers here, Ted Burns leading Carter Lundy by 134 to 33. Porcelli is 10 back of the leader, sitting on 24 points. Jerome Lamy, Nagisa Yoshikawa tied for 4th. Nicholas Daly, Ben Holko tied for 6th. Good battle there, and I'll get the point standings pulled up here for the official series as well, because when you start talking 4,100 level splits, you get some really big swings in the point standings.
Yeah, the winner's gonna get some stupid points here.
This is going to make it tight atop, even with Ted winning the first 2 weeks. If Lundy can hold on here, this is really going to claw back that differential.
Ted was perfect the first 2 weeks. His numbers are, quite frankly, pretty silly in this car. Still leading the point standings. He has, in 4 weeks, 13 starts, 9 wins, 10 top 5s. 132 laps completed, and he's led 90 of them. Carter Lundy, in the same 4 weeks, oh my goodness, 73 starts, 44 wins, 69 top fives. That's nice. And he's led 468 of 756 laps. All I hear is Judge Schmales. Don't you have homes?
Right, like that sounds like me in an oval week, Chris.
It really does. Hey, now, Carter has been talking about the fact that he's trying to mine some safety rate or some iRating here. He's doing it in the USF car, that's for sure.
He's doing it in pretty much any car he's
any car he wants, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much.
I believe we call people like him aliens.
I will say, though, he has been working on his oval racing and oval racecraft, and I'm excited to see how he does next week in Top Split at Legacy Phoenix.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the schedule here. One of 2 oval weeks coming up next week. We're off to the Phoenix Oval. Then our first visit, well, we haven't been to Norway in a long time. I think the first time we went was to Hell. We're going to Rudskogen. Yes, we're getting the Great White North in the dead of winter. It's going to be beautiful and probably 70 degrees out in Sim. Then we head off to Spa for week number 7. This is sort of, Jason, you talked about it a couple of weeks ago. This is sort of like a greatest hits type schedule for this first combined season.
It totally is. And you think the SOF is big this week. Wait till all the spa chasers show up for their facials and Swedish massage and get the little stones on cucumbers on their eyes, and we see what that SOF looks like Spa Week.
Yeah. Oh, good battle here. Porcelli, Teddy B, they're going to war again. That's in the bottom corner. We've got the race leaders up on the top box because we're down to 2 to go. Ted Burns having to fight off Cameron Dance here as well. Good Lord.
And meanwhile, the top 3 are back in, throw a blanket over them because we were too busy talking about ovals. My fault, but the top 3 are within half a second. And then you've got this battle where 4th through 8 is covered by a second.
Lord.
This is insane. We'll flip the boxes back, get the leaders up top. The move is coming from Marcello Paniccia. It's just a matter of when. Could Savio Paniccia, wait, the Paniccias.
Right? Is there a little...
is there Mia Familia thing going on? I said we don't know if they're related or not, but...
I believe I saw in Discord earlier that they are related and that they drive karts in Canada.
Well, there you go. We got to get them in the Discord.
I believe they also know Mr. Lundy.
Oh, well, there you go. So, see, you get the good back information. I'm the one over here like screwing off all day. Porcelli,
almost contact there between Burns and Dance.
Yeah, man, Porcelli doing a good job to hold on. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Porcelli holding on to that 4th spot. Cameron Dance coming around Teddy B. Oh, and here comes the battle for the lead as they crest the hill.
I don't know what to watch.
I know. This is so good everywhere.
Times like this, you wish you were cross-eyed.
Oh, the train got in the way on my screen.
What a
Did that
pass!
just happen?
What a pass by Cameron Dance on David Porcelli.
In the S's? Are you kidding me?
Mid S's, yes. Nut up and ball out for Cameron Dance. The question now, when are the Paniccias going to make the move? Carter Lundy's doing the weave down the back straightaway. He's got to think that it's coming.
Going. I don't think he's close enough.
He may not be, or it's going to have to be really gutsy. Well, here it comes.
Really late on
looking
the brakes.
outside.
Got a great entry, though.
Can he cross him over out of the chicane? Here they come down the hill. They're making contact back in the pack. Over the line, checkered flag. Carter Lundy gets the win over Marcello Paniccia. There's the 4-car battle. Good Lord, that was 4th through 7th coming across the line.
Oh, and they're wrecking
Yoshikawa
behind.
They're
spins.
wrecking across the line. It's like an MX-5 race.
Holy cow. What a show.
That was stupidly exciting. Oh my goodness.
Carter Lundy picks up the race win at U.S. Open Wheel D. Oh my goodness. Marcello Paniccia, Savio Paniccia rounding out your podium. Porcelli and Burns, the top 5. Let's take
I'm
a
telling
look.
you right now, as you're pulling up that, if you are a 3,000 plus iRating open wheel driver and you're not running in this series, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Get your butt out here and run, because there's not a better show in open wheel on iRacing than this series.
Well, let's call this like it is. This is now the top 2 series of American open wheel racing that you can broadcast on iRacing. This is going to help the
100%.
numbers in a big way. But there's nobody else that's this competitive. Nowhere close is it this competitive. Lundy getting the win by a very nice 69 thousandths of a second over Marcello Paniccia. Savio Paniccia rounding out the podium. Porcelli and Burns the top 5, as we mentioned. Cameron Dance, Nicholas Daly, Ryan Hammond, Nagisa Yoshikawa, and Timothy McReynolds back to the 10th position. Yoshikawa, I think, spun before the line and able to square things back up and slide across the line there. Carl Lemkuhl, Rod Eskew, Cody Hunley, Gabriel Couto, and Aiden Luis Ingrata rounding out the 15-car field in a race that took about 18 minutes to complete here this evening. And oh my goodness, yes, please. That's a hell of a way to round out a night of broadcast mediocrity. Anybody? All right.
I'm kind of speechless. Like that pass in the downhill S's that we saw, plus like I don't know, Chris. Like this is exciting, and I just realized that the fixed race next week at Legacy Phoenix in these cars is caution free, so it's going to be wild and woolly.
Yeah. Here's the battle between Cameron Dance and Ted Burns for 5th.
I want to see this again because on my there's a little left side love in there through 1.
Yeah, they were swapping this spot back and forth like it was their job. Every few seconds they were going back and forth on it. Man alive, what a fantastic show. And Jason, to your point, I forgot that the D-Class races are caution-free. Yes, I am here for that.
It's going to be a fun one. And I'm telling you right now, I won't be in the booth because if I'm fortunate enough to make top split for that thing, it's going to get sent.
Yes, all of this sends. It's going to be a damn DHL distribution center next week in the D-Class series. Oh, we got to sign that deal. U.S. Open Wheel Class DHL. Somebody from Andretti talk to us. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's go back to the live view here and get ready to close things out because, my goodness, that was spectacular. U.S. Open Wheel D, as always, puts on a great show. We're going to have a new broadcast points leader after tonight. Carter Lundy claiming the win. And Teddy Burns coming home in the 5th position. Actually going to be a pretty big swing in the broadcast championship points. David Porcelli may even be able to make a run at Teddy B. Only finishing 1 spot ahead, but is worth a couple of points there. So, but with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. This was a blast tonight. Looking forward to what's coming up next week. Oval Week at Phoenix. Keep your eyes peeled. Some big announcements coming over the next couple of weeks as well for what our plans are for the National Racing Network for 2023. You don't want to miss any of it. With that, we are getting the heck on out of here. For James Watson, Jason Owens, and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.